As if New York City residents don't have enough housing concerns going on, there's a new scandal that has come to light. 70 current and former New York City Housing Authority workers were implicated in a $2 million decade-long pay-for-play scheme. A troubling revelation indeed. Imagine the audacity, the sheer nerve of these individuals, exploiting their positions, their access and power, all while the hard-working residents of the city continue to wrestle with housing issues. This scheme is not just an act of corruption, it's a betrayal of trust, a slap in the face of every New Yorker who believed in the integrity of the system. The impact of this scandal will be far-reaching, affecting the lives of countless residents, shaking their faith in the system, and further complicating an already complex housing situation. But rest assured, we will be delving into the nitty-gritty details of this case, laying bare the who, what, where, and how of this shocking scandal. Before we delve deeper, do me a favor. Please give this video a like and subscribe to this channel. So, what exactly happened here, and how did it unfold? In the heart of New York City, a group of 70 current and former workers of the New York City Housing Authority, or NYCHA, managed to orchestrate a pay-for-play scheme that's left everyone aghast. These individuals took advantage of their positions within the housing authority to pocket a cool $2 million over a decade. But how did they manage to do it? Well, it was a mix of audacity, cunning, and a detailed understanding of the system they were part of. They were supposed to help maintain and manage public housing, yet instead they were using their roles to line their own pockets. They took bribes from contractors, effectively selling their influence and authority. In return, these contractors were granted priority on lucrative contracts and jobs. Now, you might be wondering, how did this go unnoticed for so long? The answer lies in the sheer complexity and scale of the NYCHA. With its vast number of properties and employees, it was all too easy for these deceitful transactions to slip through the cracks. This was further magnified by the lack of stringent oversight and audit mechanisms, creating a fertile ground for corruption. The scheme was simple yet effective. It was all about knowing who to approach, what to offer, and when to strike. It was a dance of deceit, where every step was carefully choreographed to ensure maximum gain and minimum suspicion. And for a while, they were getting away with it. But as the saying goes, you can fool some people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all the time. Eventually, the scheme began to unravel. Whispers turned into rumors, rumors into investigations, and investigations into a full-blown scandal. Now, this couldn't have happened without some key players, could it? Who were the people behind this shocking scandal, you may ask? Well, let's look into that. The 70 perpetrators held a variety of positions within the organization, but whether they were administrators, maintenance workers, or inspectors, each had their role to play in this 10-year-long scheme. Take, for example, the case of one of the primary players, a housing manager. This individual, whose job it was to ensure that the homes under the authority's purview were safe and up to code, instead used his position to line his pockets. On a salary that typically amounts to around $70,000 a year, it's estimated that he managed to collect close to $15,000 in bribes over the course of a decade. But he wasn't the only one. There was also a superintendent whose annual salary of around $90,000 managed to rake in an additional $95,000 in bribes for no equal sign contract bids. And then there was an administrator, a person tasked with the smooth operation of the housing projects, who apparently had other ideas. On a salary of approximately $60,000, she reportedly doubled her earnings through bribes. These are but a few examples of the individuals who abused their positions of trust, exploiting the system for their personal gain. The exact sum of money they amassed through this pay-for-play scheme? Around $2 million. Yes, you heard that right. $2 million that could have gone towards improving housing conditions for the residents they were supposed to serve. But where did all this take place? The scheme was perpetrated across numerous locations within the city, from the offices of the housing authority to the very homes they were meant to maintain. The irony? This scheme unfolded right under the noses of the authorities. The very people appointed to ensure the city's housing is fair and accessible were taking advantage of their positions for personal gain. It's a bold reminder that corruption can seep into the most unexpected places, And in this case, it was the very institution meant to provide a roof over the heads of New York's less fortunate. With all this going on, it's clear that for some, this was more than just a job. For some of these workers, their regular jobs were just the tip of the iceberg. Beneath the surface, a more devious narrative was unfolding. A narrative of side hustles and shadowy dealings. For these individuals, their roles within the New York City Housing Authority were not merely occupations, they were opportunities. Opportunities to exploit the system and line their pockets with ill-gotten gains. The term side hustle may typically bring to mind images of freelance work or selling handcrafted goods online, but make no mistake, these were no ordinary side hustles. Rather, these were ventures steeped in deception, driven by greed, and carried out under the cloak of their official duties. Unfortunately, holding a position of trust, a position meant to aid and assist the residents of New York City, was instead used as a platform for personal enrichment. It's a disturbing thought, isn't it? And yet, that's exactly what these workers did. Their salaries, it seems, were not enough. The temptation of easy money proved too strong, leading them down a path of corruption and deceit. Now, it's important to remember that not all side hustles are bad. Many hardworking individuals use them as a means to supplement their income, to pursue their passions, or to achieve financial stability. But in this case, the side hustle was a disguise, a mask worn to conceal the true nature of their activities. These workers didn't just betray the trust of the city they served, they also tainted the concept of the side hustle. They turned it into something sinister, something to be associated with corruption and wrongdoing. But let's not allow their actions to cast a shadow over the many legitimate and honest side hustles out there. As we wrap up this shocking tale, I hope you found this information enlightening. This disturbing account of deceit and corruption is a constant reminder of the importance of integrity and transparency. We've unraveled a tale of 70 current and former New York City Housing Authority workers, who, over a decade, allegedly engaged in a $2 million pay-for-play scheme. It's a story that has raised questions about the very people tasked with providing safe and affordable housing to New York City residents. These individuals, in their greed, turned their positions into a side hustle, collecting bribes that only added to the city's housing woes. Their actions will have a profound impact, not just on the residents they were supposed to serve, but on the city as a whole. We must remember, though, that this story is more than just about the perpetrators. It's also about the resilience of a city that continues to strive for a fair and equitable housing system. I hope you liked this video. Please share it, comment below with your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel.